Okay, so let's take a look at our quiz now and go through this step by step. It says on the axis below, graph y equals 3/4 x minus 2. Guys, what is, everything that we do here is all filtered through the general equation of a line. Everything begins and ends with the general equation of a line. So what is the general equation of a line? Talk to me, somebody. Come on, Patrick, what is it? Oh, I gotta erase that. Come on, this is easy, not a trick question. Y equals, good, what? Mx plus b, excellent. What does m stand for? Everybody? Slope, good. And it's how you move. And b stands for the y-intercept, and it's where you begin, excellent. So all I need to do is look at this and say, well, what's in the place of the m? What's in the place of the b? In this case, what's in the place of the m is the 3/4. And what's in the place of the b is the -2. So I strongly, strongly, strongly suggest on your paper that you write m equals and b equals. Patrick put little boxes around his. But by putting m equals and b equals, it's very helpful because I think what it does is it reminds you of how you should go about doing these particular kind of things. Does that make sense? Okay. Since I begin at -2, I go over here and I touch at -2. Then I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4. So I go up 3 over 4. And then I draw my line that connects it. Any questions about that? Okay. Now, I just want to talk about something because it's extremely important that we get this down pat. We have Talia, who's a new student in the class. Talia, we got the coolest YouTube channel.
You guys are allowed to watch YouTube on the computers?
Yeah.
Oh, at our old school we're not allowed to do that. Like, they have everything blocked off.
Yeah, no, you're allowed to watch YouTube, and what's really cool is that anything that anyone in here doesn't understand, we're recording today's lesson right now. And
so they could hear me?
absolutely.
Oh, that's horrible.
Now, what's going to happen is, yeah, whether you like it or not, we're gonna put your voice on here. Then what we're going to do is it's going to be on the internet. Right at the end of class, I'm going to put it up.
Oh.
And then we are going to, or you can go home tonight and you could say, oh my God, I feel so overwhelmed. I'm put in the middle of this math class. They're doing this stuff I've never seen before in my life. But you can watch the video. And by watching the video, you could see it a second or a third time. What was that?
And you can hear your own voice.
Yes, and you can hear your own voice. So what's really cool is, if there's something you don't understand, you can go home, you can watch the video, you can use a little slider, so you don't have to listen to the whole class. You just find the parts you didn't understand, and then you can get it down pat. Now, if you got a 0 yesterday and a 0 today, there's a problem. It means you didn't do any work between yesterday and today. Now, if you got a 0 yesterday and a 50 today, that's not bad. If you went 25 yesterday, 75 today, that's not bad. But we're looking for improvement each and every day. If you are having a hard time understanding something, it doesn't make you bad. People don't fail because they're stupid. Sometimes kids think that. They think they get a bad grade. Oh, I have to be stupid. And nothing could be further from the truth. Years ago, I think I mentioned this once or twice. I'll mention it a couple more times. Years ago, I used to be over 400 pounds. Now, when I was over 400 pounds, the reason is not because I said, oh man, I really want to be fat. And I never said to myself, oh my God, I'm just fat. What I did was the habits in my life had become such that I was worried about everything except my health. I wanted to make sure that my wife had the car that she wanted, the house that she wanted. I wanted to make sure that my children had what they needed to go to college and to do other things. So I was so hung up on taking care of them that I didn't take care of me. And then one day I woke up, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I said, you know, not only is that one of the largest human beings I've ever seen in my life, but on top of that, I said to myself, you're the poster boy for dying young of a heart attack. I said, what sense does it make in life to work really, really hard to give everybody else what they wanted? And then when you finally hit the point in your own life where you can enjoy a few of the things that you want, in my case, fly fishing, photography, my dogs, you can't do that anymore because you're not going to be physically able to do it. I said, that's stupid. That makes no sense. So I started doing things about my health. And then over the next couple of years, I got in really good shape to the point where now I'm in good, solid shape. I'm not in perfect shape. I don't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I'm not in bad shape either. Okay?
Yes.
And the only difference is this. Now I have good habits. It's been a little cold lately, but when the weather's okay, I ride my bike upwards of 100 miles a week. Every day, regardless of the temperature. If it's raining, I won't do this. But as long as it's not raining, I will walk my dogs. Once in a while, it's a half an hour. Usually, it's 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. So probably averages out to an hour a day. And when I walk my dogs, it's not like I sit there still on the leash while they smell in the leaves. It's not like that. We're up and boogieing. Of the hour, we might let them smell for about 15 minutes. For about 45 minutes, we're walking fast. If you can keep up with two dogs the size of my dogs, you know you're walking fast.
Oh, did you see my dog when he's running?
Yeah, well, I'm not running. I can't run. Let's be perfectly clear. But I do walk quickly. So, and now I nosh throughout the day. I eat a little now. I eat a little later. Instead of eating mega tons of chocolate chip cookies and carrot cake, I eat my banana. I have my yogurt. Me too.
It's
Yes, no, it's
In
just
some
healthier
ways.
than other cakes.
Yes.
I had yogurt and blueberries for breakfast. I had a banana before. I'm gonna have a banana again later. I'm gonna
Speaking
eat
of
some.
cake.
I'm gonna eat some healthy stuff later on. And now, because of my habits, I'm in good shape. Whereas in the past, I was in horrible shape. Your habits are what's gonna determine how you do in this stuff. If you have good study habits, if you walk into class and you focus and pay attention. If you go home and you still don't understand and you pop on that video and you watch the video to see what you can do better, you're going to improve and you're going to get better. Okay? All right, so let's go to the second question now. On the axis below, graph y equals 3x minus 2. Well, again, like Patrick said before, when it comes to graphing and lines, and anytime they talk to me about lines, it all begins and ends with y equals mx plus b. That is the general equation of a line. I have to further understand that m stands for slope. And again, we talk about how m is a really weird letter to use for slope, but it's because it's how you move, and the slope is movement. And b is y-intercept, and we talked about how that's kind of weird, except b also means begin, and you begin at the y-intercept. So, in this problem here, the slope is the number in front of the x, it's -3, the y-intercept is 2. Notice how I made it a point to label both of those. I always like to write it on my graph. So as soon as I see b equals, the b reminds me to begin. So I go begin where x is equal to 2. And we also talked the other day, a positive slope goes up. What goes down? Negative slope. And a flat line, horizontal line in between is a 0 slope. So I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1. 1, 2, 3, over 1. Now in the last class, a couple of people went down 3 over 2. If you ever get a slope that's a whole number, like -3, or 7, or 9, those as whole numbers are always over 1. Okay?
Is that a 3?
It is a 3. It's awkward when you write like this. It's kind of weird. Any questions about that? All right. So,
Nope.
what was that? Oh, you wanted to give me your other Pop-Tart?
Nope.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
You super positive?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're lying.
That's awesome. Yep, we get to eat.
Oh yeah, you can eat it, as long as you don't make a mess.
Oh, the sticker thing. I know you can.
Oh, with the whole pen thing, yeah. Now, yeah, listen, the deal in here, Talia, is really simple. You are treated with complete respect, but you're expected to treat others with the same amount of respect. So one of the people we try to keep in mind is the custodians. You know, I'm gonna let you guys eat in here, I'm gonna let you drink in here. Don't bring in cans, bring in something with a screw top. And you can do whatever you want. The whole thing is, no one should have to clean up after you. So, whatever floats your boat, you're welcome to do. All right, so, oh, there's those words again. Write the equation of a line. I told you, growing up, man, when I was growing up in my house, my dad, there were two things that were unpopular in my house. One was me and the other was me. My dad, I'm telling you, he like had this reflex built into his hand where he would hit me. It was automatic, and it wasn't like he beat me. It wasn't a beat me hit. It was right in the back of the head. All the time. If I called my mother she or her. Same with you? Or you just want to hit me?
No, like my mother also does that with her children. It's like you have to say mommy, ma,
Right.
mom.
It's a sign of respect.
If you don't, it's like, what did you call me? me?
That's exactly right.
I am not your friend. I'm
That's
your
exactly
mother.
right. That's it. We can be friends when you're 30. At this point in time, my job is to raise you. And you will sit down, shut up, and do what I say to when I say how I say. Your mother's absolutely right. It's very hard to be someone's friend and then be their disciplinarian. But the truth is, as an adult, you have to. But with my dad, it was a different reason. My dad's reason was because it was a sign of disrespect. When I would say she or her, it was always like, do your parents ever say something to you and then forget they said it?
Yes.
Right? All the time. Growing up, man, my parents constantly would do that to me. So, and sometimes my mom was dead wrong. Like what she would say she remembered was completely wrong. Did you ever notice that? So Gabby's like, oh yeah, preacher brother. So then I would turn around and I would look at my dad and go, but you know, she said. And as soon as I said she, bam, right upside the head. Your mother, she took you into this world. You will show your mother the respect that she deserves. Without your mother, you're not here. So shut up and call her mom. It was cut. It
He's
was
saying
automatic.
she and her, so.
Right. Well, he could. He did. My mom did not take my dad into this world, but my mom took me into this world. So I learned. You always said mom or mother. I never really called. Actually, you know, as I got older, it was like a snotty term. I go mother. You know. So I would throw some of that in there. But no she's and no hers. At no point in time did I say she or her. I got hit. It was automatic. So I see, write the equation in the line. I'm like, y equals mx plus b. I just automatically write that. I don't think about it. Just like if I ever accidentally said she, you would see me twitch like this. Because I knew the cuff was coming. I was getting nailed. You ever watch NCIS? You ever see how Gibbs smacks the nozo in the back of the head?
Yeah.
That was it. That was exactly what would happen to me in my house. Now, and then again, it wasn't like he beat me. It wasn't like you were going to call CPS. But he was making his point. Y equals mx plus b. Write the equation of a line whose slope is 3 and whose y-intercept is 1. Oh, no, this is tough. No, this is...
That's easy.
Slope is 3. 3. And what?
So y.
Y-intercept is 4. Hold on, hold on, time out. I have to sit down and process that.
I was able to do that in my head. He's a drama queen.
It's like
Is it
a drama king, please. Now,
No, you can't see it.
this is like, I am figuring out the secrets of the universe here. This is so complicated. How can you not get this right? Seriously. Look at your, did you get this wrong?
No.
If you got this wrong, it has nothing to do with your intellect. Nothing at all. Look, the slope is 3, so it's y equals 3x. The y-intercept is 4.
Plus 4.
Plus 4. Done. That's the easiest thing going on the face of the earth. There's no reason that you can miss that. Okay?
No.
I would actually say it borders on the common sense. Of course, common sense ain't so common. Now, let's go with number 2.
That's right.
Write the equation of a line. That's a key word here, parallel to this one, but has the same y-intercept as this one. What does parallel mean?
They never cross paths.
What are like, what things do you know of in the world that are like it? What? No, what I say is always like parallel lines. Railroad tracks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? They
Well,
go on
sometimes
forever and
they
ever and
do.
never touch.
Sometimes they touch. Like, if.
No, these two will never touch each other.
Oh, no.
Now, one's going this way might, but
Yeah.
these two will not. Okay. So now, parallel lines. What do you know about the slopes of parallel lines? We did a lesson on this the other day. They're equal. Very good. So in my new y equals mx plus b problem, I know that since they're parallel, the slopes are equal. I know this has to be 1/2. But it has the same
Minus 4.
y-intercept as the green line. What's the y-intercept of the green line, everybody?
-4.
Minus 4. So minus 4 goes there. Now, I can understand you struggling with number 2 a little bit. You need to see a couple of those, and then, but you know if you see it tomorrow, you should be ready for it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay. Next, write the equation of a line that passes through 1, 3, and 3, 9. And this is kind of where we left off yesterday. We got through this, and we talked about a similar problem, but we need to do a little bit more work on this. 1, 3, and 3, 9. 1, 3 is here, and 3, 9 is 3, 6,
didn't know what box to do it in. You could do it in any box.
No, when you set up an axis, I don't bother writing this on here, usually, because it kind of takes time and I can be a bit worried about time, because sometimes I talk too godforsaken much.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you like the stories and you know it.
Yeah.
So now,
2 isn't a negative. It's not a negative.
oh, I didn't put a negative there? Okay. So, these are the numbers, and did you ever play Battleship? Talia, did you ever play Battleship? You know how they say like A3, and you line up the A and the 3, and then you would go there? So if I say the point 1, 3, now it's alphabetical order, it's X, Y. This is the X axis, this is the Y axis. So I look for where the X is 1 and the Y is 3. So here's where my X's are 1, here is where my Y's are 3, they meet here, so that's the point. Okay? And the next point, I think, in the problem was what, 3, 9? 3, 9. So 3, 9 is up here, because the X is 3 and the Y is 9. So this is 1, 3, and 3, 9. Now, one way to graph the line, boys, one way to, or write the equation of the line, I'm always thinking y equals mx plus b, because it's an equation of a line. One way is to just graph it. And when you graph it, look at the graph and figure out, hey, what's the slope and what's the y-intercept? Now, I always like to begin with the y-intercept because it's so easy. Y-intercept means where it touches the y-axis. Where does this touch the y-axis? 0, right? Goes right through here. So since it goes right through there at 0, I know I'm going to get y equals mx plus 0. Now, I need to find the slope. Now, we had a whole series of quizzes about how to find the slope. And all you have to do is count from one dot to the other dot. This is today's lesson, so that's got to go. So I'm going to go from a dot to a dot, I got to go up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. So that means the slope is 3. So y equals 3x plus 0, and I don't need to write the plus 0. If you wanted to put the 3 over 1, you could do that. That would be fine. Okay? Now, that's one way to find the equation of a line. To graph it, and to then sit down and go through the pieces of that graph step by step by step. But there's another way to do it too. This approach we would call the graphic approach. We also need to do what we call the analytic approach. Analytic kind of comes from the word analyze. What does analyze mean? When you analyze a problem or a situation, it means you kind of think it through. You start making observations and drawing conclusions from it. So, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to begin with y equals mx plus b. And I need to figure out the m and the b. Now, figuring out the m is pretty easy, and we've done a lot of work about how to figure out the slope of 2 points. In this problem, they gave us these 2 points, 1, 3, and 3, 9. And you remember we did the slope formula the other day. This ugly looking thing that we said really wasn't so ugly after all. The y from the second point minus the y from the first point over the x from the second minus the x from the first. I don't care which point's point 2 and point 1, it works both ways, but I'm going to label them like this. So what's the y from the second point? Who's going to help me out here? Michael, what's the y from the second point?
9.
Good. And what's the y from the first point? 3, good. What's the x from the second point? 3. And what's the x from the first point? 1. So 9 minus 3 is 6, 3 minus 1 is 2, and that works out to be 3. So far I know my slope is 3. And that's good, because it matches for both of them. Whether I do it graphically or whether I do it analytically, Michael, I can end at the same exact result. Now I need to figure out what b is equal to. That's a little bit trickier. To figure out the value of b, I need to know x and y. So I can use either point. I'm going to use this one. Now remember, any point is always x, y. So instead of the x, I'm going to put a 1. And instead of the y, I'm going to put a 3. And then I just solve the equation for b. So I get 3 equals, 3 times 1 is 3, plus b, minus 3, 0 equals b. So then I come right back up here, and instead of b, I put plus 0. And now I have the same answer either way. Y equals 3x, or y equals 3x plus 0. Either way works, okay? Any questions on that? All right, let's have you try another one now. If we go a little bit further into the sheet here, it says, write the equation of the line that passes through the point -3, -1, and 1, 7. So I would like you to use either the graph paper or the analytic approach and do just that one, the equation of that line. And what were those coordinates? -3, -1, and what?
1, 7.
1, 7. Okay, good. Get that going. I'll go over it with you in a minute or so. Okay, so I think the easier way to do this is to graph -3, -1, and 1, 7. Talia, let's see if you got the points right. It's a little tricky when you first start, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it keeps going. And this side is the negatives. Just like a number line. And then you do a vertical number line. Okay, so if I put -3, -1, that's going to be right down here. Did you get that one right? Good. And then 1, 7, 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, right here.
I was gonna ask, how do you get an equation out of that?
Well, as soon as they say write the equation of a line, what pops into your head?
X
Ah.
and Y?
Y equals mx plus b. Okay, watch this. I want you to say the first thing that pops into your head. You ready? Peanut butter.
Bread.
You're weird. Everybody
Jelly.
else.
Jelly.
Yeah, jelly. Everybody says jelly.
I don't eat peanut butter.
Okay, please.
I don't eat jelly.
Thank you.
Absolutely. There's certain things that are automatically linked in this world. You automatically put them together. Like if you hear a politician start giving you a promise, all you should say to yourself is liar, liar, liar. Okay? Now, as soon as it says write the equation of a line, fluff is good too. As soon as it says write the equation of a line, you write y equals mx plus b. Now you need to find m and b. Now the m is the slope. So if I'm going to go from here to here, how many are you going to go up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 8/4x plus b, but 8/4 kind of reduces to what?
2/1.
Yeah, 2/1 and 2/1. My line looks a little bit sloppy there. So I could just write y equals 2x plus b. Okay? Now, what does b stand for again, guys? The y-intercept. That means the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So I look here, there it is. Where did it cross the y-axis? 5. So the answer is y equals 2x plus 5. Now what's really cool is if I plug in a point, like I'm going to plug in this point here, watch, it's going to check. Remember, any point is x, y. 7 equals 2 times 1 plus 5. What's 2 times 1? 2. And what's 2 plus 5? 7. So 7 is equal to 7, check. So I can even confirm it by looking at it, that it's going to go right there. Now, that's the graphic way to do it, and I think that's the easiest way. But you also need to know the analytic way to do it. With the analytic way, y equals mx plus b. So now I'm going to use these 2 points to find my slope. The point -3, -1, and the point 7, 1. So the slope is the y from the second minus the y from the first over the x from the second minus the x from the first. There's my formula set up. Let's call this one 0.2 and this one 0.1. The y from the second point, oh, this is 1,7. I don't know why I wrote that. The y from the second point is 7. The y from the first point is -1. The y from the second point is, the x from the second point is 1. And the x from the first point is -3. Circle agregar. Circle agregar. 8 over 4, which is 2. So we now have y equals 2x plus b. And then, to find b analytically, I can plug in either point. I don't want to do that point. Why don't I want that point? What's that point? What gives me the heebie-jeebies about that point? Oh, come on, there's something in it. Obviously, heebie-jeebies. Back. The negatives, right? Don't you try to avoid negatives if possible? So I use 1,7. Remember, any point is xy. So I get 7 equals 2 times 1 plus b. 7 equals 2 plus b minus the 2. 5 equals b. So then I come up here, and I put in the 5, and I get y equals 2x plus 5. Y equals 2x plus 5. Y equals 2x plus 5. It's the same either way. Now, the red way, where you just look it up, is so much easier. The blue way is a lot of work, but you should know the blue way, because sometimes when the line doesn't go right through a point, that's where the blue way is what you need to do. Okay, let's try the next line that it has on there. What does it say there? 0, 5, and 3, 2? 0, 5, 3, 2. Go ahead. 0, 5, 3, 2. All right, let's take a look at this picture. What's the y-intercept? I think that's so easy to do all the time. What is it? Eric, what do you get? Where it crosses the y-axis. Where does it cross the y-axis? 5. Good. Now, what's the slope? Slope is -1. So it's y equals -x or -1x plus 5. Okay, hasta la vista. Bye con Dios. Toodaloo. Ta-ta. Arrivederci. Smile a lot. Ciao. Arrivederci. Adios amigos y amigas. Cheerio. Toodaloo. Ta-ta. Garusharus. Sayonara. See you later. Hasta la bye-bye.